from the team of Chondimondop. We don't know how to greet you in this situation because the humanity and mankind is in a grave situation, or rather challenge, I would say, where we are struggling to come out, and we know we can come out together. So, to discuss on the present situation, we have Arnab with us. Arnab is staying in Trieste, Italy. So he is working in the field of theoretical physics, and he actually can tell us the situation from the ground zero, I would say, regarding the worldwide condition of COVID-19 spread and the situation Italy particularly is in. So now we can hear from Arno that what he has been experiencing since the spread of coronavirus. So Arno,
Hello.
yeah,
Hi,
hello.
Arnab.
Hello. Yeah. Yes.
So since when did you hear or get concerned about the spread of this COVID-19 in your locality or the neighborhood you are working with?
Concern, I'm pretty sure throughout the world people got concerned later, but when did you hear about it first time?
I think the information came around 23rd of January, around that week, roughly. I remember last week of January.
And we are now at 28th of March. So
Right,
it's been like 2 months almost.
Right. And I was just checking my my previous emails just to be precise. I believe academic activity in ICT in Trieste was suspended by 15th of February. Okay. Roughly that time, 15th or 17th of February, I believe the first week on which academic activities were suspended was probably that week, 17th, week of 17th. Around 24th, week of 24th, we were, so there is another academic institute called CISA, which sent a general email saying all the students, they asked all the students to not come to the institute, and all the classes were suspended by that. So I want to force that in that week, the CISA actually sent the email not to come. Not just the classes were suspended, but they also suspended students' entry.
So it was like a forced lockdown by that time. Previously it was voluntary?
Yes, that is academic. Only this is an academic institute, which is 24th of February. And the nationwide lockdown happened in Italy on I believe 9th of March, so roughly 3 weeks back. So you can say that I got the information by end of January. I got let's say serious about it, or I became semi-serious about it by 15th of February, and then from 9th of March I'm very, very worried about the situation.
From 9th of March, it is a forced lockdown that you cannot even go out of your apartment.
Yeah, you only need some valid reasons like buying medicine or buying grocery.
Only the essential services, you mean?
Yes. All other activities has been suspended in Italy. Yeah.
And I heard that you have to write a paperwork and you have to fill out forms and stuff.
We have a self-declaration letter which we have to fill out before going out. And
is it online or something?
The form is online, that's right. It's in Italian, I can send you. And you can just fill up the form and keep it with you. In worst scenario, when you act, so firstly, when the police can check that documents if they want. And secondly, if you really don't have that document, you may be asked to fill up the documents when the police catches you.
On spot.
Yeah, and they will verify it. I mean, police catches you, you say you are going to grocery, but you do not have any bag, or you do not. You have to justify that you are actually doing that job. Right. Okay.
They're just trying to make sure that people are safe.
Yes. They're trying to enforce that people are not going out for just random chatting.
Whatever reason. Yeah.
And Arnab, from the different media sources, but we see that the scenario in Italy has been increasing in a very gruesome way. You can say in the way the death rate is increasing, or the infection is increasing in an exponential way. So do you feel that there has been some delay in initial phase, whether the lockdown should have been imposed earlier to contain the spread?
I kind of feel that the time when the institutes were suspended, if the lockdown had happened that time, at least it now seems that if they had done it, it would have been much better. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so in my understanding, it probably came at least 1 week late. If it was at least 1 week before, we probably would have
Mhm.
had much better result, and we would have had much less death probably.
And as we all
Uh,
know that this virus spreads during the incubation period, that means you get
yes,
infected today and you won't see any symptoms for next 2 weeks. However,
correct,
you will still keep spreading the virus during this
correct.
period when you or anybody surrounding you don't know you are infected.
Correct. That's absolutely right, and I think that silent spreading happened over some time because you see that even after lockdown, the exponential curve was the spread was following the exponential growth for almost 2 weeks. It only deviated last week a bit, but it's still the numbers are very high.
That doesn't make
Yeah,
Yeah.
sense. It's
and
And
been locked down for a while, but still
yeah.
the rate is increasing. That only can make sense if people were spreading it while they didn't know they were sick.
yeah, actually, I just want to mention one interesting thing here. Somebody was mentioning that if you just think in terms of the virus is very clever or very useful in spreading itself.
Mhm.
Because let's say the virus has a very less incubation time, then the concerned person, the infected person, will show the symptom very quickly, and
Yes.
hence it will spread less. Also, see, the virus is not very deadly. It's not as deadly as like SARS. But
Mhm.
you see that if the virus is very deadly, then also it spreads less because the person who are infected are killed, right? They're killed by the virus,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't spread much. But this virus is a very peculiar virus which has a long enough incubation, and even if a lot of people have died, but its mortality rate is not alarmingly high like a SARS virus. So it's very efficient in spreading itself to a wider population.
Yeah, even I have read in an article that the virus during its mutation, it has mutated in a human or human-like animal
Correct.
undetected.
Correct.
I mean,
I mean, I think the
yeah.
virus we knew for a long time, but I think the new case is that there was no human to human transition, and only
Mhm.
after certain mutation you can now go from a human to human, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a critical point. Yeah. So in that sense, the virus is very effective in spreading itself.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that this virus being non-deadly is the most dangerous
Yeah.
part of this virus.
Yeah, I mean, I would say two things. One is this in a huge incubation period of 14 days, and its mortality rate is not extremely high. These two things make it much more deadly, actually, because it infects a wider population before you can even detect it.
And even if people are not dying out of this virus, the problem that is happening is, in our understanding, is that it's overwhelming the medical system. That means all the beds and all the facilities are occupied by these people from like affected from this disease, while people who actually need medical assistance from other stuff or other diseases or other problems, they are not getting the required treatment or required all
That's
these things,
correct.
and people are dying more from this lack of treatment or lack of facility than this disease alone.
Uh, that's correct. Also, I think another important thing is that even if the mortality is low, but the mortality is extremely high for people who are aged, especially above 60, and
Mm-hmm.
people who have pre-medical condition. And and of course, in any household there is population in all ranges, right? I mean, there is old
Yeah,
people, there is
yeah.
middle-aged people, there is younger people. So in that sense, it's threatening every family because it can potentially kill the aged population of your own family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arnav, what's the situation right now? I mean, the neighborhood you are in, and I believe you must have some time need to go out to buy some essential requirements. And so, what you see around, like the people who you meet every day, or the people in the stores. So, what they're feeling? Do you find they're pretty scared? I mean, they're coiled up between themselves, and They don't want to meet up with people. What you say?
Firstly, after the lockdown, certainly people got very scared because the number of people using the mask increased like a lot. Before that, there were people. I saw less people outside, but they were not using the mask. But after the lockdown, whenever I got out, I found almost everybody using the mask. Secondly, the street in front of my apartment, it's one of the crowded streets in the city. But now very less. I can see very little vehicles or very little pedestrians. So in that sense, I kind of feel that people are mostly locked in their apartments. In terms of supermarket also, as you probably know, that the supermarkets are also following social distancing, which means that they're controlling the number of people that can enter the supermarket.
I see.
And in every supermarket, just after the entrance, they provide you hand sanitizer and gloves. The supermarket provides. So that's mostly the feeling I am getting here. I think people are in general scared, actually. Yeah.
So, does this lockdown has taken the shape of a voluntary lockdown, more or so, rather than a forceful lockdown from the government officials?
See, at least in Trieste, I do not see a lot of checkings. Okay, I mean, I do not necessarily see a lot of police officials. So, my understanding is that it's mostly voluntarily because people can see the numbers and that how high it is. But of course, there will be always a part of the population which doesn't want to obey, especially the young generation and all these things. So, if there is a percentage of people, actually, a few days back, I saw a graph which showed the number of people which violated the thing. If I find the graph, I will send it to you. Because the police are allowed to fine you, they can fine you from 250 euro, 400 euro if you go out without any reason.
So they can fine you just like that? They just found you on the street and they can fine you, or there has to be something?
No, firstly, I think they find you, and if they find you with no good reason. I mean, if you say, I know one case where somebody was coming from a friend's place after dinner, okay, and that's not a valid reason, okay. So the concerned person was fined 250 euro on the spot.
Oh wow.
Okay, yeah. So I know a particular case. So in that sense, if you cannot justify why you are traveling, you may get a fine. Yeah.
So are people scared? Everybody is scared and kind of fearful about this whole situation.
I think the situation people are. I mean, at least my Italian friends, what they say is that they're genuinely concerned about the situation of their country, right? Because it's affecting the economy, affecting the old people. A huge amount of medical professionals in Italy have died. So I do not necessarily see it as like a fear of administration. I think that there are concerned, huge amount of concerned people. And as I was, as I have seen also, that after the lockdown and after this disastrous thing that's going through this country, I have seen many national flags hanging out from the apartments, which probably shows their love for the country. Right. Yeah.
That is a huge thing. One more thing is that how is the supply chain going for food and other essential items? And
it has been pretty good here. At least I haven't seen, there hasn't been a single day where I went to the market and I couldn't get the thing I'm looking for.
Okay.
I think there was one particular evening on which the lockdown was announced. For that evening there was some shortage, but it was not there even the next day. So I think it was just a particular panic.
That people panicked.
There was a little bit of anarchy because of panic. But the rest of the time it was fine.
No. I and all my friends, none of them have faced any problem with food. Not at all. No.
Supply chain has been fine and
also
comfortable.
Also, within the city, they are still operating the public transport. Okay.
Oh wow.
So So there is the train service is almost not there. The train service, I don't think there is any trains nowadays.
I'm pretty sure not from not from other places. Outside the
Yes.
city, it's closed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they have also probably suspended the flights. I don't know
Yeah.
actually. But the bus service in the city is operating, but in a very limited way, in the sense that there are protocols to use the bus, like so that to protect also the drivers, right? Because
Right.
the
Yeah.
drivers
Yes.
have to
Yes.
go out every single day, and it's also the responsibility of the city or the country to protect the rights of the drivers. So yeah, with that limited limitations, the bus service is still operating.
Or no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Honor probably want to say something. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Just want to check. I mean, in this situation, I mean, in India, the lockdown has just started, and
Yep.
naturally, looking at the condition worldwide, we are scared a lot.
Yeah.
So we can imagine that after almost a month of lockdown, you may be a situation of mental stress. So how you can keeping the mental well-being of yourself these days?
So okay, so actually people are finding newer and newer ways to kind of drain that out. So in my personal life, we do a lot of video chats with my friends here in Trieste.
Hmm.
Yesterday we also had a dinner, because as you know,
Okay.
Friday is usually the
Yeah.
time to meet your friends and have dinner. So last
Hmm.
night we all meet each other in Skype to have dinner, because
Yeah.
so that's the social front, social life, personal life. In the academic sector, our group has now started all its group activity over video chat,
I see.
which means
Okay. Yeah.
we are having journal club, we are having group seminars, and we are having once in a while classes
Mhm.
over video conferencing. So that, and also my research, the research group I belong to, we also have a weekly meeting over Zoom. So in that way, we are kind of trying to find newer and newer ways to cope up with the new lifestyle. Actually,
Yeah. 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 Still, I go on. You're saying something.
So yeah, I was saying that um, are people getting more panicked? Because initially I understand that there was a limit where it will be 15 days, 21 days, or whatever, and then now I realize that all over the world the lockdown duration is increasing. Are people getting panicked? You see around you?
at least my Italian friends, I could see, I mean, some of them are extremely worried about the situation. That part is true.
That's
Uh,
what is true.
Most of my friends are my generation. In that sense, I don't think any of us are very worried what will happen to us. Yeah, I remember I was calling one of my Italian friends. She went to Milan, so she had to go to Milan because her family is there and her father was ill.
I see.
Mhm.
So I asked her that, are you worried? She said, look, Arnab, we are not getting a vaccine for at least 1 year.
Yeah.
So we have to live with
Yeah.
this virus, and we will get it sooner or later.
Hmm.
So just accept this reality, and we will get it. But the important part we have to understand is that even if we get it, we should not spread it to some other person. Right.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So she went there and she maintained all the protocols so that her family or anybody else doesn't get infected. But at a personal level, I also think so, because if you're not getting a vaccine for some time, I will get that infection sooner or later.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I have accepted that reality. So I'm fine with it.
So, do you also find that the sense of social responsibility, so that I do not become a carrier of the COVID itself, is increasing amongst people?
That part is
Amongst.
increasing. That part is increasing because certainly the number of people going out has decreased a lot. And in general, I have seen that when I go out, everybody maintains a distance in front of the supermarket, right?
I see.
And here in the supermarket, it's not like, as you see in India, probably they're putting boxes so that you stand in the boxes or something. There is no such thing happening here. So it's just people naturally implementing
Voluntarily.
those. Yes. That is one part. Second part is that because of the restricted motion and because of the older population has been strongly encouraged to stay in apartment, almost for all purposes. You see, this is a point of concern for the following reason, that they also need food and other things, right?
Supplies.
So there have been volunteers throughout the city who are buying groceries and buying essential things for older population.
Oh, that's great.
Many of my friends, so the voluntary organization is giving you a special badge, so that with that badge you do not face any problem from the police. And these people are helping older people to do small things. It can be as small as throwing the trash bag, or just buying things from the supermarket. And this is completely voluntarily job, so they're not paid for
And
this.
This can be a precedent to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Many of my friends are doing this. Yes, and she mentioned it to me that she was like throwing trash bags and all these things, because old people are not supposed to come out, and for good reason.
Yes, for good reasons. Yeah, there's no question about that.
Yeah. So I think people are in general understanding the gravity of the situation, and they're becoming more and more motivated for the cause, and somehow they also feel that it has to be stopped somehow.
Yeah, we all have to understand this, because we see, as we all know, that in the whole world, no one is trying to understand it at the beginning until it is getting too late. That is the biggest concern I have. Everywhere, in all the countries that is happening. I mean, it's good for India, our country, is that our government have, I think, taken the steps in an early enough stage where it was only coming from people who were traveling from abroad, and they decided to close out the country. I'm certainly hopeful that will help this situation.
Yeah, but somehow I also feel that the people need to understand, because for many activities it is not very hard to maintain social distancing, right? For some activities it is hard. For example, if you are commuting every day, let's say in a local train, it's hard. I understand that, especially India's population. But if you're going to a market, you can maintain social distancing. It's not that hard thing to do.
So you are saying that I think we should practice these things from our heart. So nobody has to force it on us.
Yeah, and people need to understand that it's not for somebody else. It's for the older population at their own house. If I don't maintain it, my parents may get infected, and my parents even may have to die because of that. Because in older generation, the mortality, the amount of people who are recovered is very less.
Very less.
So I think, of course, there is a big social issue and the thinking for the country and all this thing. But I'm saying, even if you don't want to do that, you should just do it for your own family.
For your own self. I mean, why would you get sick anyway?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. No, I think in the younger population, the point is that we are not getting in that very severe form of the infection. So they said, okay, it's fine, I won't get it. But that's not a good argument, because you may infect the older population.
And as we already have decided that younger population is not getting the problem, but God forbid, if they need medical help for something else, the hospital is full with other people, you cannot do that. So everybody has to understand this whole situation.
Even in India, we don't have enough instruments or kits available for testing or checking itself.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure in a lot of the countries in the world,
so firstly, in India, that's the first problem. Second problem in India that concerns me is that the amount of safeguard measures they are providing for the doctors. See, everybody will now rush to the doctor, and if the doctors do not have this enough protection, firstly, they may get infected, and if they get infected, that will do two jobs. Firstly, you have less medical professionals out there to do the necessary service. Secondly, these people may be the ways to community spread, because they are seeing anyway a lot of people every day, right? So we have to defend the doctors. They should be given the proper equipment and proper jackets and everything. And that thing I still can see some of the reports that in India that situation is still not good. So I think people need to understand.
Yeah, and another thing, I don't know what the situation in Italy. Like in India, a lot of doctors do private practices. Yeah. So if you believe that all your doctors are in hospitals and don't count the doctors who are doing private practices in every alley, you'll be mistaken, because most of the commoners or people in the low middle class sector of the society many a times visit these local doctors rather going to a hospital.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's one. But also with this, I think eventually they have to go to with corona cases. I think they eventually have to go to the government hospitals, because I don't know what is the private testing facility currently in India.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you have to somehow or other go to the government facility, because then you have to access all these newly coming kits and stuff. Otherwise, it's not possible. Anyway, I mean, we have discussed a lot of serious things, and let's go to one of the interesting things. I mean, we see all over internet, that people are, playing music for their neighbors. They're standing in their balconies and stuff.
Singing Bella Ciao.
Yeah. Is it the case? I mean, have you ever seen something like that?
So I personally haven't seen live performance, but I have certainly seen. I mean, I got a notification through WhatsApp that the Friday after, so the week the lockdown was imposed. So that was the week of, I think, 7th or something, 9th. So I think that Friday, which is 13th. There was a proposal that everybody will come to the window, and they will play something for the neighbors, and the neighbor will respond to that song by playing a new song or something.
Like play a MP3 or YouTube video, you're saying?
Something. I mean, you can do.
That's nice.
It's spontaneously whatever you want to do.
That's nice.
So that part I have seen in Trieste, but the videos you have said, I myself haven't seen it with my own eyes. I mean, I just saw the videos. I haven't seen.
Right. I mean, from these instances, we can at least see some silver lining to this whole thing, that probably we are coming together as human beings and as a human race, and fight the problems, the general and common problems, and then hopefully we'll come out as a stronger race.
This also shows the spirit of the Italian people to enjoy life, right? I mean, they are probably facing one of the worst crises, at least in probably in last 20 or 30 years. It's one of the worst crises they're facing. In that time, they're concerned, but they're not so concerned that they give up the enjoyment of their life. They're maintaining the protocols, but they're finding newer and newer ways to be joyous, to be cheerful. And that was pretty thought-provoking for me.
We all have to find our ways, and throughout the world, wherever, I hope that this virus doesn't spread anymore, but wherever people are in trouble, please remember this, that we have to all stand together against all these crises like this, so that we can come out as even a stronger race, and hopefully we'll forget our rivalries and we'll not keep our petty rivalries in our mind, and we'll try to be friends and be helpful and be better human beings in general. I mean, I would like to thank you, Arnab. Thank you a lot that you shared some of your experiences, and somewhere or other in the world people will be benefited from this information, and then again will grow as a better human being.
I hope so.
Race.